Hey there, welcome to the sermon preview for this week. This one is a little bit different because we've already talked about this passage in a previous sermon preview. With everything that happened with the coming of Michelle and I's son Miles, I had done a sermon preview and then he was born, and so we had to switch gears. And so you've already heard a sermon preview on this passage, John chapter 13 verses 1 through 20. It's the idea or the story of Jesus washing the feet of the disciples. So I'm just going to give you a quick summary of what this is, and if you want a little bit more in depth, go back and listen to the sermon preview from a few weeks ago, but then also we'll dig in quite a bit deeper during the sermon on Sunday. So in this passage, Jesus and his disciples, they arrive at the house or at a house, and they're having a meal together, and in the middle of this meal, Jesus gets up and he grabs water and a basin and a towel, and he starts to wash the disciples' feet. Which, as we know, in that culture was a pretty big deal because that was the job of the lowest servant in the house. And so Jesus was taking the position of a servant for his disciples. And this was probably kind of mind-blowing for the disciples, and they were confused at what Jesus was doing. And we see that Peter, when Jesus comes to Peter, Peter says, Jesus, don't wash my feet. No. But then Jesus has to explain to him, no, Peter, if I don't wash your feet, then you have no part in me. And so then Jesus, he goes on to finish everything up, and then he sits back down and he explains to them what he just did. And he says, what I have just done is an example for you that you should do for each other. So I've done this for you, people that are lower than me, right? He is their teacher. He is their Lord. They are lower than him. He has lowered himself to do it for them. They should be willing to do it for each other. And so this is an example for the disciples, but also for us and how we serve, that we should take on the attitude and the heart of Jesus and how we serve in our humble in how we serve, in our humble attitudes, in our humble hearts as we approach this idea of service. And so this week we are looking at Jesus as our example of serving. So Jesus served. He went first, right? This is our series that we're in and our theme for the year. He went first. And so here, Jesus is our example of service. I'm excited for Sunday. I hope you are as well. It's going to be great to be back in the pulpit preaching, bringing a message. And so really excited for what Sunday has to bring. Look forward to seeing you there, 9:15 Sunday morning.